Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 2nd August 2022. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. I am a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube, Haribol trsv nectar, nectar nectar. In this particular vlog, in our videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge, ideas, opinions, thoughts, etc., that we gleaned from books, scriptures, contemplation on material universe, and meditation on spiritual universe. This particular video is no exception to that rule. Actually, it is only an extension of the other videos. We have been discussing about Kundalini serpent and how it is activated and it goes to the first chakra in the spinal cord called Mooladhara chakra. We all know that Mooladhara chakra is 4 parts material and 1 part spiritual, and that because it represents the earth element, this particular chakra is the most physical of all. We have been discussing several case studies pertaining to living entities who have had inadvertently or knowingly had their own Kundalini chakra, Mooladhara chakra, pierced by the Kundalini serpent, and they achieved stupendous feats and unconceivable depths or ranges in achievement of in various fields. In this particular video also, we shall be talking about one such case. There was one particular person called Manohar Aich. Mr. Manohar Aich was born on 17th March 1912 in a place called Comilla in West Bengal or East Bengal, which is now called Bangladesh. This particular person was born in an abject poverty-ridden family in a very common background with a lot of deprivations and suffering. Because of that, he had to go to work on an early age. This person was hardly educated, but he had a lot of determination and guts in him. Despite his problems and his poverty, he was interested in physical matters. This person was quite puny and frail in his childhood, and he suffered several ailments. At that time, this person had an uncle who this guy, Mr. Manohar Aich, had observed as a child while that man worked out to build a body. Years passed. The Second World War came. India was under colonial rule at that time. Hence, the Indians were recruited into the forces by the British government forcibly to fight on their behalf in the Second World War. Mr. Manohar Aich was also no exception. According to one record, he joined the army, and according to another, it is he joined the Air Force. Whatever it may be, what happened was, according to one record, his battalion mutinied and they were all court-martialed en masse and put in prison, with Manohar Aich joining his own battalion in that particular sentencing. There is another story that while he was in the Air Force, some British officer said something derogatory about India, and so Mr. Manohar Aich slapped him, and so he landed in prison. Whatever may be the reason, the fact remains that Mr. Manohar Aich landed in a prison cell at that time when he was in his 30s or at mid 30s. This person got a cell for himself. He had to spend long stretching hours which seemed unending, day after day, alone and in the cell without doing anything. At that time, his Kundalini, knowingly or unknowingly, got activated. This person suddenly remembered what his uncle was doing as a bodybuilder when Mr. Manohar Aich was a child. Mr. Manohar Aich, with his memory, started copying those acts of his uncle inside the cell. Soon, the Kundalini serpent reached the Mooladhara chakra of Mr. Manohar Aich. This man got hooked to and addicted to bodybuilding to such an extent that he began working out 16 hours a day. Without any gym equipment or facility, he did all ground exercises with his own body and began developing a very alarming or enchanting physique, which was stupendous to say the least. This man was hooked to this particular bodybuilding to such an extent that he forgot where he was. One day, when the assistant jailer was doing his rounds, Mr. Manohar Aich told that person that he wanted to show this person something. This jailer was intrigued. He was a young British man who was very nice by nature. Mr. Manohar Aich started pushing his body into the bars of that particular cell and started stretching himself. The bars gave way. The assistant jailer was stunned to see that. He said nothing at that time, but soon went to his room and wrote a letter to the British government. There is one guy called Mr. Manohar Aich in my prison. He is only 4 foot 11 in height, but he has the frame of a Hercules. He is so well built that seems to have been built by iron. But this guy has no brains. Just now he showed me how he could bend the bars of the cell. If only this man had been cunning, he would have bent the bars at night and escaped, but he did not. He probably does not even know how to escape. But he is so good that I would like to have him released, get him an army pension, and train him in bodybuilding. Rest is history. Mr. Manohar Aich, whose Kundalini serpent was full-fledged operative in his Mooladhara chakra, was released, given a pension, and after some time sent to England by the same government which had once imprisoned him. Mr. Manohar Aich went to England, did bodybuilding, participated in various bodybuilding competitions, and in the year 1952 he won the Mr. Universe title of his category as Pocket Hercules. Pocket because he was only 4 foot 11 in height, but he had the body of a Dara Singh or a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger, etc. This man became instantly famous all over England. And then some people who saw his photograph in the newspapers could not believe what they were seeing. They thought that the body of a 30-year-old was joined to the face of a 40-year-old, whereas it was not true. Both the head and the physique belonged to the same person. After some time, Mr. Manohar Aich came to India as a hero. He was a bodybuilder in his own right with international fame. He began running his own gym, and at the age of, believe it or not, 95, he was still a bodybuilder. At the age of 100, he got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the then President Dr. Abdul Kalam. And then after some time, at the age of 103, Mr. Manohar Aich expired finally as a legend who is emulated and followed by not millions of Indians but by billions the world over. Mr. Manohar Aich has set an example which is incredible and unachievable and seems unachievable, but which is truly achieved and cherished. Kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that I can keep reminding you of my other videos. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.